Good morning and happy Tuesday, everyone, or I guess good afternoon if you are in the eastern part of the world. We are excited to be back and chatting with you today about relationships and how they actually relate to our physical and mental health. But before we get started, we'll just quickly introduce ourselves for those of you who aren't familiar with who we are. I'm Jessica Melnick. I am the founder of the Anti-Arthritis Method, the host of the Happy Joints Arthritis Solutions Group. I am a registered holistic nutritionist, and I help people with arthritis get back to living their life the way they choose to, not the way that they have to. And I will hand it over to you, Casey.
Thanks, Jessica. I'm Casey Cupharts. I'm a functional medicine nutritionist. I have the program, the Feel Good program, the Feel Good formula. Wow. And I help women with autoimmune disease, all autoimmune diseases, help get their energy back and get back to the activities that you love to do. And I live in St. Petersburg, Florida.
And the sun always shines there.
The sun always shines. I think it's behind a cloud right now, but it's shining. Don't worry.
Awesome. Our sun is shining today too here in Saskatchewan, but it is still kind of chilly and it's very windy. But I'm just really happy to see the sun. The snow is gone. Hopefully it's not going to come back. It's been a long, long winter.
I've been seeing all of these like memes on Facebook or TikToks or whatever you want to call them about like everybody out in the sun and their seasonal depression is gone and they're like thriving in life again. It's just amazing what the sun can do to you and your mood and hibernation of them. And what we used to do in mammalian life or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, right. It's like we don't have the option to hibernate anymore. But it would be nice, I think, at certain points of the winter. So yes, I hear you. Have the sun back is so amazing, energizing, and happy mood producing, and all those things. So, are you okay?
Oh, I'm good.
Good.
I'm great.
I apologize. I'm maybe coughing off and on today too. I have the lovely illness that may not be named, and it has hanging on for dear life. So still coughing a bit, but mostly feeling like a normal human being. So I'm grateful for that. So like I said before, today we're talking about relationships and how they relate to our physical and mental health. Now, Casey and I talk about this a lot because when it comes to getting better from arthritis or another autoimmune condition, we need to have supportive people around us to help us reach our goals. And it's also really important to have healthy relationships, not just only for support, but just for our own mental well-being as well. And we all know that we are multifaceted humans. So it's not just about making changes to diet or taking medications or the right supplements in terms of feeling better. It's also about our mental health and our emotional health and the people that we surround ourselves with. It's so, so important. And so we're going to talk about the reasons behind that today and give you some examples from our own lives and how the work that we do within our programs and the communities we create within our programs, how they actually can help propel you forward in terms of reaching your goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I know for me, surrounding myself with people who are open-minded and not judgmental and who are very understanding of my health goals and who have health goals of their own is very affirming, and it's also helps me stay on track when I'm surrounding myself with other people who value their health and their well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, you're not going to have everybody in your life, whether it's your close family or your friends, who are going to have similar goals, and that's okay. But you need to have some people in your life who have health goals and similar goals, because we are the product of the people that we spend the most time with. When we are both working towards health goals, we actually advance and help each other progress and lift each other up. And if we're hanging out with people who, have an unhealthy lifestyle or a lifestyle that we're trying to get away from, it's really hard to move forward. So, for example, I know myself, I have to eat a certain way for my body in order to maintain my arthritis. well, not to maintain my arthritis, that sounds ridiculous, to maintain control over it so I can keep my symptoms in remission. I know what I need to do physically in terms of, how much exercise is enough exercise, how much is too much, getting sunshine, getting out for walks, and which foods work for me and which foods don't. So, but if I spent all my time with people who were always just like wanting to go out for drinks and nachos, which is great once in a while, but I wouldn't feel very good. And that would not be very supportive of my health. And it would not be something I could sustain on the long term. So,
Mhm.
it's important to have friends that you can do health supporting activities with, whether it's, going to an exercise class, going for a walk with them, even just chatting about what you're struggling with and what your goals are.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
those things are so important.
I would say even you mentioned that we don't need to have everybody in our life be, this health conscious or most supportive people, but I would say the people that are closest to you should be that supportive, health conscious, or even just open-minded people. And then your acquaintances can be those ones that are just the fun people, or, they have their certain opinions on health and they don't coincide with yours, but that's okay. They're good for a certain reason, but don't go to them for complaining about your health or trying to better your health. You have buckets of people in your life and you utilize them in different ways. That sounds really wrong, and I'm not trying to make it that way, but one person isn't always good for everything you need to go to them to.
Yeah, absolutely. We have different people for different aspects of our
Mhm.
lives, and with varying degrees of closeness and familiarity,
Yep.
and for different purposes of our lives.
Yep.
Absolutely, I completely agree. I know,
Exactly.
Casey. I know. Do you have a story of how like people in your life can influence your health, like from your
Yeah.
own, just so other people can hear other examples?
Yeah, definitely. So I read a quote a long time ago, and I'm sure all of you have heard this before. You are the top 5 people you surround yourself with. And I was probably, I don't know, 23 when I heard that. And when I was 23, I was still going through my autoimmune process, but I wasn't as strict as I am now. And I was hanging out with the people who love to drink every night and go eat nachos. And what did we do on a weekend? We went and bar hopped, typical 23-year-old stuff. But I couldn't live that lifestyle. And I knew it because of my autoimmune disease. And it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I felt worse and worse and worse and wasn't completing my goals. So I started really thinking about that. And I would say that it started to really, really change when I moved to Florida here about a year ago. But back home, my goals weren't being accomplished because I was hanging around those people that, one, didn't understand what I was going through, two, didn't have a health conscious mind, and three, didn't really ask any questions about what I need to be doing for my health or how to help support me in it. Let alone I was in some toxic relationships where, they also didn't care or even was capable of thinking about, me and what I needed with my health. Um, and I went along with going out to restaurants and bars and giving in to foods that I shouldn't be and drinks that I shouldn't be. And it's really hard to stay focused and consistent if you're hanging around people who are not focused and consistent. So when I moved to Florida, my goal was I have a lot of guy friends back at home. So when I moved to Florida, I'm like, I need some real girlfriends, and the girlfriends that I want open-minded, I want health conscious. I'd love to go out for a cocktail, but that can't be our sole focus of our relationship. And I got that. And a lot of my friends play volleyball, and we go, do cool things that don't revolve around drinking. It can, but it doesn't have to. And also, I'm really selective now on who gets close to me, whether that's a relationship. I have a great partner who is open-minded about my eating plan now and buys food that I can actually eat, and we don't go out to these places I can't eat at. So knowing that helps me stay on track and not feel guilty staying on track, because that was always huge for me. But also, I have friends now who are supportive and who are understanding if I don't want to go out and drink or don't want to go to this restaurant because it doesn't have things I could eat on the menu. So I am like a poster child for you are who you surround yourself with, I feel like. And it is so, so, so important. And if you haven't heard that quote, you are the 5 people you hang around. I want you to, right after this live, write down the 5 people that you spend the most time with or talk the most time with. Um, and ask yourself, are they healthy for you? Are they making you grow and get closer to your goal? Or are they more on the toxic side where it's fun to be around, but you kind of don't accomplish your goals when you're with them, or you don't feel really great when you're with them, or you regret doing what you do when you're with them? And just see what comes to mind. Sometimes we don't even have 5 people to put on there, and that's okay. But that's just another sign, just saying that you can grow your community a little bit with healthier people.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I also wanted to say too, for those of you who are watching live, and if you feel compelled, just pop into the chat, like, write, tell us a little bit about somebody who has influenced you to accomplish your health goals and how they support you. I would love to hear some examples of that. I know an example, like from my own life, in terms of my health goals, are that when I developed arthritis, when I was in I'd say my early 30s, I was completely at a loss. And I know that developing an illness like arthritis or another autoimmune condition is such it's often a really scary thing that happens. It's also, there's a lot of grief, I think, as well, that comes with it. A lot of uncomfortable feelings and fear as well. And so when we're already dealing with that, we need to have somebody who's supportive of us when we're like, okay, this is what I need to do to get healthy. And having people who are able to support us through that, and not be judgmental or discouraging, because when you make a decision to do something, it can be really hard when people are discouraging you, like, oh, well, just one like piece of cake isn't going to hurt right now, like what's the big deal? Because they don't understand what the process is and they want you to feel happy and comfortable. But I know for myself and my partner, he doesn't eat the way that I eat because he doesn't have to. He doesn't have an autoimmune condition, but he supports me in other ways, like he will cook something that I can eat, because he knows if I'm busy too, he's trying to help me save some time while I'm doing other things. So he'll cook for me and make sure that we have food in the house that I can eat, and that makes me feel good. And that's one of the ways that he really, really supports me. Or, for example, setting up a more ergonomically correct workstation for me because I work from home. So things like that, that are very supportive. So even though he's eating food that I can't eat often around me, it's totally fine because I have what I need to, and he's helped provide that for me. So that's an example from my life of how having supportive people can really help you reach your health goals.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to go more deeper into that. Is it more deeper or more deep? I think it's more deep.
Oh, good. We know what you're talking
about. Into that and just take it to another level, and you not surrounding yourself with people who are healthy and like-minded or open-minded who support you in your health is stressful on your body and your goals. But that stress of not having a community that you really want and desire, and a community you have that is toxic for your health, is causing stress on your body. And we've talked about this before. Stress equals inflammation. Inflammation equals an autoimmune disease. So stress causes a leaky gut. And I know this is woo-woo to say, and you may not believe it, but your relationships directly correlate with your leaky gut and your autoimmune disease. So I know we talked to Joanna a couple weeks ago and just talking about self-care, but your leaky gut and stress I was going somewhere with this and I just lost it, but causes inflammation. So once you get rid of that trauma, once you get rid of your toxicities and relationships and your stress work and all of that, your gut starts to heal a little bit more. This is all stuff we're cooping up inside of us. It's in our subconscious or it's in our conscious minds. And once we start to deal with that, we start to heal even more on top of the eating that we're doing. So bare bones here, relationships equal an autoimmune disease, or relationships can equal healing from your autoimmune disease.
Mhm. And and I think that's a great point, Casey. And it does sound a little bit woo-woo, but the reality is that our mental or emotional health affects our physical health because our bodies are all interconnected. So if we have, a dumpster fire happening in one aspect of our lives, it's going to be really hard to feel our best. And I think any of you can think of examples in your own life when, the stuff hits the fan and things are really rough and something has happened that is not good in your life. It's really hard to feel good in those moments and until that's resolved. So
and you have a flare up. Like, think of the last time you had a flare up. What was going on in your life? Were you super stressed? I guarantee you, you're going to say yes. And that will tell you right then and there that stress directly correlates to your autoimmune disease. So,
yeah, absolutely. So it's not all doom and gloom, though. We have solutions as always. So we have some ideas of what you can actually do to help yourself feel better and get healthier physically, mentally, emotionally when you don't have as supportive of an environment that you would like. So one of the big ones, and Casey and I are huge proponents of this, is to talk to a therapist or a counselor. Hugely helpful. I don't know how much I need to say about that unless you wanted to elaborate that on a little bit more, Casey.
No, even if you're not, I guess, yes, even if you're not a therapist person, there's lots of other people you can talk to, but I would say just give it a try 1 or 2 times, honestly. It's wonderful. And I use the platform BetterHelp, which is all online, and you can pick your therapist or they're directly matched to what you need. And I have a free week. If anybody wants it, I'm happy to send you that link and just try it out for a week. And it's 24/7 of, you can text them, you can video call them, things like that. So
that's awesome.
Let me know.
Yeah, thanks, Casey. That's great. Another one is write down what you want and what does support look like to you. So it's really important to get clear on, okay, what do you want to get better in your life? So in terms of your health, what is it that you need to improve? And what supports do you need? So being really clear on, what do you need a supportive person to do for you? Do you need help with meal planning and preparation? Do you need help with grocery shopping? What are the things that you need in order to keep your health goals on track? So be very specific about that, because if you don't specifically write down and know what it is that you need, you can't ask anybody for help. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And just another piece of that too, when I moved to Florida, I had a vision in my head what I wanted my friends to be like and do, and their mentality be like. So I knew what I was looking for when I was looking for new friends, and even a new partner. I wrote it all down on what I'm looking for and what my standards are and all of that. So if you don't know that about yourself and you're just like looking all over the place, you may be attracting the same people that were in your life before because it's comfortable and you know about it. But if you know what you want instead, it's easier to seek out.
Absolutely.
So the next part would be, once you know what you want to seek out, seek it out. So you can seek out friends, relationships, start a conversation with a supportive family member that you haven't talked to in a long time, or even online supports. Like Jessica and I found each other through a business platform. That was an online support system for us. And, look where this relationship has gone now. So there's so many different ways to find a community. And I would suggest finding it in your hobbies. So I play volleyball. I found a lot of friends through volleyball. If you like reading, join a book club. If you like, um, I don't know other things. That's all I do.
There's a club for everything.
I know.
There's a club for everything. There's a Facebook group for everything. So just pick what you want and go look for it because you will find it.
There's Bumble BFF. I have a lot of friends through Bumble BFF. So whatever works for you.
That's awesome. Another one is to set boundaries with people who are not healthy for you and distance yourself from them whenever possible. I know sometimes we say, well, it's my mom or it's my dad or it's my, whatever family member that we might have, or it's, oh, this friend I've had forever. If this person is bringing you down and not healthy for you, it is not your obligation to maintain a very close relationship with them just because you were worried that it would hurt them if you didn't. You need to think about yourself and your well-being and your health, and it is okay to set boundaries with them, to limit the amount of time you spend with them, and to take that time and seek out positive people. Yeah. Like you are not obligated to spend tons of time with somebody who makes you feel like crap. It's not good. And in whatever sense of obligation you have, really, really examine that.
Yeah.
I really question that.
For sure. I've talked to my therapist a lot about that actually, and she had a good way of saying it. Like, you can detach from the situation and still be there, but you are detached from the emotional aspect of it. So if it is a family member who just always bogs you down and is negative, is not supporting, you can still, you don't have to cut them out of your life. You could be like, thanks for your opinion, and go away and not attach to that emotional drainage that they're providing you. Take it like a grain of salt and throw it away. And it's easier said than done, I know, and it's a work in progress, but just because they're your family does not mean that you need to take their shit. You are a grown-ass adult.
Yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes we just get so caught up in what has always been that we don't realize that we have the option to change.
Yep.
And we have a right to do that. And we have a right to distance ourselves from toxic behavior and people who are exhibiting those behaviors towards us. Exactly. So it's okay to put yourself first and to do what's best for you. And I think that it's so hard for so many of us to come to that realization that we don't have to put up with crap just because it's always been that way.
Preach. The last one would be filling your schedule, your calendar with health supporting activities. And that way it's weeding out all of the other plans that you may do instead, like go for a cocktail or I don't know, what other bad habits you may have that aren't contributing to your health goals. So making self-care a priority and scheduling it, and that way your day is just filled with it. And they can be 10-minute things or an hour thing. And my friend that I go on walks here, she's a huge condoner of this, and she's not a morning person, but one of her goals is to be a morning person. So she scheduled a walk with a friend at 7:30 a.m. about once or twice a week. We have a walk scheduled in the afternoon, so we both get out of the house and don't sit at our computers. And she's scheduling volleyball through the day and this and that. And so she can stop, going out with friends and drinking wine and doing, other shenanigans that she may not want to do because she doesn't feel good about it. So she's packing her schedule with healthy things, and she's been crushing it and making herself feel better. So if I would say that's a great idea if you're a calendar person or a planner. I know I am.
No, I love that. I love that because when you make time for health, you have less time for stuff that isn't going to be healthy for you. That's amazing. Love it.
Exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you for putting it in those words.
No, that was a great example. I really love that. So I guess just to conclude what we were talking about today is that the people that we have relationships really can heavily influence our health goals and how many of them that we actually accomplish. And we just want to make you guys aware of that, because I know we often talk about, people say, oh, I just don't have the willpower to do this or the discipline. And it's not about willpower or discipline. It's about making a decision and creating your environment and spending time with the people that are going to help you actually propel you forward. So as humans, we're always going to want to go back to what we're used to and what's comfortable and what's easier. And that has nothing to do with being lazy or not having willpower. It has everything to do with being human.
Yep.
And that's exactly why Casey and myself have such an element of support within our programs. We create a community around you to help you get to your goal of, putting your autoimmune and arthritis symptoms into remission, because we know that it's way too easy to fall off track if you're just trying to go about it by yourself. I know it is for me. I know I need support, and I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have those supports. So
100%. And to keep on the journey. It's easy. Maybe it's easy to get on the journey for you, but it's so easy to also get off of it. And it's harder to stay on, and you need those additional supports to stay on. And like Jessica said, we both have those communities with people who are in this same journey with you. So if you're wanting to know more, let us know in the comments.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We will be back next Tuesday. Casey is away for the rest of the week, but we will have some more exciting topics for you next week. So enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you all soon.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.